Hello people, I am Jaby KOAY, joined by Achara KIRK.
Hi guys.
And we are about to connect with Vicky Kaushal. The first question is going to be, how do I say his name? Here we go, gonna hit this connect button. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi.
Hello. You see us, we don't see you. Usually we're just watching you and you can't see us.
I know.
Now
Hey, there we go. Hello.
Hiya.
How are you? Just so you know, this is not going to be any questions. It's just going to be us fanboying and fangirling for 45 minutes.
Likewise.
We're happy that you decided to do this.
I know.
So, it's really cool.
So excited.
Listen, guys, I just want to tell you guys that I'm a big sucker for trailer reactions, and you guys top that list. I am freaking waiting that when are you guys gonna come up? Like when Uri had come out, and I used to scan my phone that what these guys are sleeping or what? Why aren't they coming with a trailer reaction of trailer? so thank you. So likewise, big fan. And what I love about your trailer reactions is that it's not just like on a surface level that you talk about the film or what's happening in the trailer. It's a very constructive feedback. You know, you really come to know what the audience is thinking or about the scenes or about how much you know of the film, about the characters. That's what I really want to watch. It's not just, okay, I'm watching this trailer reaction, wow, okay, bye. It's like you know, you talk about it. You talk about the, you know, the film, the atmosphere that we're trying to create, the work of the actors, director, everything. Love what you guys do.
Well, thank you so much, man. That means a
you.
lot to me. I mean, like, it's likewise though, because I want to be you when I grow up. Do you ever have days on set standing opposite of a beautiful actress performing epic scenes when you stop and think, should have gone engineering?
Never. I graduated as an engineer in electronics and telecoms in 2009. It's a 4-year program, and in the second year I had made up my mind that, you know, after this is done, I'm really going to get into acting because that's what I want to pursue. I've always been active on stage since childhood. I've been a shy boy.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been a shy boy, but I used to feel very liberated when I used to be on stage. So I think that actor in me was subconsciously always there, but it took me time to figure this out, that this is what I want to do as a career option. But then after I got done with engineering, I straight away dived into it. I joined an acting course, and then I assisted Anurag Kashyap on Gangs of Wasseypur, and then started doing theatre in Mumbai 3-4 years, then started auditioning and all of that. So never, every day. I mean, this is before even I started getting films. My first film came out in 2015.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to come into films, and but every day of my life, I mean, it was disheartening sometimes when you don't crack auditions and when you don't get to, you know, even audition, when you're not even fit to give an audition, and there are days that go by that, you know, you feel that you just couldn't give an audition today.
Yeah.
But then every day I knew that, you know, this is what I wanted to do. This is really what I wanted to do. For me, being on a film set is like, that's paradise for me.
Right.
I want to spend like each day of my life on a film set. That's where I'm the happiest. I'm really the happiest person on this planet.
I read that for Raman Raghav 2.0, you locked yourself in a room for 5 days doing lines from the film to like hone that part in the hopes of getting it. Is that part true?
I'll tell you what happened. Yes, I did that. I did that as an exercise. What happened was I got a call from Anurag Kashyap, and he said, "Okay, listen, Vicky, I'm making this film. It's about a cop and a serial killer, but there's a thin line between the both of them, and they're both psychos. I'm thinking of you for the cops part, but I don't know if you'll be able to pull it off because he knows me personally. He knows my upbringing. He knows my family. You know, he's seen me since I was like in the 10th grade. Okay. So he knows me. He knows my family, and he knows how good my upbringing has been. I've not got any family problems, or I've not got, you know, those kind of problems that make me reach Raghavan's character, to be so edgy, to be so self-destructive.
Yeah.
So he was skeptical, but he's like, I really want to do a screen test with you. You take your time and you tell me when you want to do it. And he gave me a couple of scenes, and I told him, you know, just give me 4 to 5 days. Like, I thought that I need to do an exercise to crack this audition,
right?
Because I realized that there is a different note to this character. It's not just that you can wake up one day and you can just play that character. You have to really, really get into that space, and it's a different space where I can't connect. It's too far off from who I am. So I thought, okay, let me use this tool of isolation. Let me see what that does to me, because I've never done that in my life. I went to a different house that we have, and I just went there. I switched off my phone. There was no newspapers, no TV, no mode of connection with the outside world, and I just stayed there. There was only once that I used to step out of that room, which was at 4 o'clock in the night. I used to step out and just take rounds of the complex around, and then come back. Otherwise, I used to stay in the house. Sometimes not even switch on the lights, and just as an exercise, not to crack the character, if at all that brings out some kind of edginess, negativity, irritation from inside me, just to see if I can think differently, if I can be a different person after these 4-5 days. And it was horrible. It's really irritating.
Yeah.
It's
So that
because the first day it's super boring. Second day you're like, okay, what's happening? Is anything gonna happen to me? Or I'm like, I start missing, like, okay, let me just talk to my friends or something. Third day you get a hang of it. Third day you're like, okay, something is happening, and you're feeling very edgy. Fourth day you want to kill somebody. Fifth day you want to kill yourself.
okay.
So I stepped out of that. I straight away gave an audition, and I gave the audition, and weirdly, Anurag sir saw that audition the very same day, and he called me to the office again, and he said that what you did was crap. So yeah, because I was behaving in a way, so I had to behave a guy who's on drugs, and but he's like, okay, firstly, a guy who's on drugs never behaves like that. Okay. So I was like, okay, I wouldn't. But it was so fascinating, and it's only he who can do that. He's like, this is exactly not what I don't want you to do for the character, but I'm locking you for the part. And I was like, why? Then why are you locking me for the part? Because he just said that I saw the part in your eyes, and I'll bring you to him. And I was like, okay, that just changed my life. 1 second, there's a fire alarm in the house.
How was working with Anurag Kashyap as an actor and also like behind the scenes as an assistant director helped you with your craft? Or do you have any plans to maybe direct yourself one day?
So firstly, I don't have any plans of directing. With each passing film, I realize what beast of a responsibility that is. To really direct a film, to get a team together, to really explain your vision to them, and then to bring everybody on the same page, and to really spearhead that mission, and it's really a task. I would love to be capable one day to be able to direct something, but it's a beast of a job, and right now I'm like, I just want to concentrate on acting. But I have been a huge fan of Anurag Kashyap and his films. Like since the beginning. Black Friday is one of my all-time favorite films. Gulal, Devdi, and these are the films that came out when I was in college. Right. So I was a huge fan. And I knew that this is some kind of cinema that I really connect to. So when I decided that I want to be an actor, I had made up my mind that I won't step in front of the camera, be it auditions or be it the actual job, unless I know what happens behind the camera, and unless I know what the process of filmmaking is. So I was very clear that I want to assist before I come in front of the camera. I want to know how a film is made, because my dad is from the film industry. He's an action choreographer. So I've always seen scripts come into my house, him reading scripts. So I was always fascinated to know how a film goes from a book of 200 pages to just something so immortal. Right. How is that process? How is that, what's that journey? Yeah. So I really wanted to know before I, come in front of the camera. So I knew I wanted to assist somebody, and my dream director was Anurag Kashyap, because that's the cinema I really connected to. I took a couple of rounds, went to his office, and like I said, he knew me personally, but then he was very surprised because he never thought I'm a guy who wanted to be an actor or something. So he's like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I told him the whole story that, engineering, acting, dream, and then he's like, okay. And so I was like, I just want one opportunity. Take me as an intern, but I just want to learn on set, and I just want to see how a film is made. So he's at that time, it was a couple of months before he actually went on floors with Gangs of Wasseypur. And he said, listen, I'm still trying to find a producer for myself for the film. I don't know what's in store for me also. I don't know what's in store for this film. But let me see if at all I don't promise you, but if at all that happens, I will call you. And which fortunately he did one day after a few months. And that's how I got, got that job. But that process of being an assistant director on Gangs of Wasseypur has been one of the most I mean, the greatest learning experiences for me.
Yeah.
It's like it was in school, it was my acting school, everything. Firstly, because you get to know, like I said, the ground reality of how a film is made.
Right.
And also, with a film like Gangs of Wasseypur, it was made with like very limited resources. There was a very tight budget, real locations. Most of the times we were shooting guerrilla, and a very tight crew with fantastic actors on board. So you get to see that process, right? So first time I had a script in hand, and I could see another actor, delivering that performance. So I could see that difference. Okay, this is where it is on the paper, and this is where he's reaching. So you get to see that. So from there, I got my next step because all those actors had a very rich theater background. So I was like, okay, so this is something that I need to do. I was 22 at that time. So I was like, I don't want to be in a rush. I want to give it time. I want to study this process. And that's when I started doing theater after Gangs of Wasseypur. So it's been really, really helpful for me. And then when I got Raman Raghav as an actor, for me, it was a dream come true. For me, it was like that circle getting complete, that I've learned from this guy. How much ever I know of cinema is through him.
Yeah.
And today I'm going to be directed by him.
Yeah.
So that was really a beautiful moment for me.
Well, that was my first exposure to you, actually. Was Raman Raghav 2.0.
Raman Raghav?
Yeah. But the reason I was asking about that is because it was kind of a two-part question. Because I noticed somewhere else it said something that you did a film where you had to adapt a stutter, and then after the film was over, you had a hard time letting go of that stutter.
That film is called Zubaan. That came out before Raman Raghav.
Okay.
So first was Masan, and then Zubaan, and then Raman Raghav. So in Zubaan, I play a character that develops stutter because of some emotional thing that happens during his childhood.
Right.
When I found out about stuttering, especially stuttering that gets developed, it's not since you're born.
Right.
It's always related to a certain set of letters, certain set of sounds that you get stuttered. I had fixed certain sounds that I stutter on. Say it could be an M or a G or an H that I stutter on. So it was very specific. So once the film got over, so when those sounds came back, I used to end up stuttering.
Yeah.
For some time, it wasn't like a long thing, but for some time it did happen.
Do you find the character prep for intense roles and the decompression from like the role you were just talking about, do you find that to be an enjoyable process? Because everyone who sees you sees like the glamour of, Vicky Kaushal. They don't know what you're going through before and after. And so
But they don't need to. I don't want them to know.
Yeah.
Like for me, that process of becoming a character, reaching that destination of that character from me to him, it's very personal. It's very sacred. It's like I really hold that very dear to me. It's very personal. I don't go by the books. I don't know what acting methods are right or wrong. I just want to reach there by method or by following a technique or something. So I really enjoy that process. I really, really enjoy that process because that's what gives me joy of being an actor, that I can live many lives in a single life.
Right.
To really reach there, it's something that I really look forward to. Okay, this is the process because something very beautiful happens. You start off as you taking that first step to reach that character, but midway when the stone starts rolling, the character starts demanding something from you. The character starts telling you, this is to be done.
Yeah.
This is to be done. That happens while shooting also, and that's a beautiful process.
So it's always different every single time then? There's no like particular routine?
Oh, always different. Always different.
We have some fan questions. So Riju Siraz said, how the hell did he do that scene in Uri where the martyred soldier was being honored and they all were chanting the war cry, but Vicky couldn't finish the sentence as he was so emotionally wounded for his loss? How did he manage to do it in such a realistic way?
That was what stood out to me too.
Yeah, that was an
like
amazing
when
scene.
when you did that moment.
You guys have seen the film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we watched it
I saw
already.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we did a review and everything already.
We said you were crap.
No, but that was
Okay, guys, poor connection. Bye.
Staying within the line of your contemporaries.
So firstly, I just want to say that I really hate that question. Like,
Dude,
I'm really
me
sorry,
too.
brother.
That was the scene that actually jumped out at me because it wasn't like a tight on you. It was a shared shot with multiple soldiers, but like it's still like I still honed in on you because what you did was so compelling.
Yeah, it broke my heart. I was just like, oh my God.
Was that like a choice you made, or was that like part of the script?
So what happened was when we were doing that scene, and there's a beautiful story behind it. So the girl, her name is Riva, that kid. She in her real life, she's lost her father.
Oh my God.
Her real life, and she is extremely close to her uncle, her mother's brother. And it's strange that it was getting replicated in the film as well, that she loses her father and she's extremely close to her mother's brother.
Yeah.
So before we shot that scene, we never heard that girl. I mean, she was always this little sweet, cute girl who would just, talk like in a very soft way. We never heard that scream. We just never heard. And when we took that shot, it was her close up that we started with, and I was just standing in the background without even looking at her. When she screamed for the first time, it gave shivers to the entire set. Like the people who were like almost in tears, and everybody clapped after that because she really broke down. And for a kid to do that, I mean, it's commendable. So I would really give that, credit of that scene to that kid. Her name is Riva. If she didn't surrender herself to that emotion, none of us would have felt it. And it was only after her first scream that it just shook us. It just shook us. And that's the first time we realized it's actually, her real life is actually getting replicated in the film. And it's very demanding for a kid to do that. It was a note by the director that when we are shouting that war cry, me and that kid have a history in the film about that war cry, about how I'm teaching her, that's how war cries are done. That's how it's supposed to be done. And then when she cries her heart out, and when she screams her heart out, and we go in that emotion of, Balidan Param Dharma, Balidan Param Dharma, it was a note by director that I don't want you to finish it.
Okay.
I want to, now it's the role reversal, that she is able to do it, but you who said how it's supposed to be done, it's you who can't do it.
Okay.
So that was something that was, that's Aditya Dhar's thinking, it's his vision. And I just tried to do it in the most honest way, and I'm really happy that it resonated. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Dash Azar asks, where do you see yourself in 5 years, as a commercial actor or staying within the line of your contemporaries?
So firstly, I just want to say that I really hate that question. Where do you want to see yourself in 5 years?
Dude,
I'm really
me
sorry,
too.
But you don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow, buddy. Just live your life to the fullest in your present, and just be who you are, and just be the best version of yourself today. I don't know who I want to be in 5 years. I don't know what I want to do in 5 years. But all I know is that I want to keep acting. I want to work with great directors. I want to be part of good films, and I want to keep growing as an actor. That's all I know. More than that, I really don't know. And also, these labels of commercial actor, indie actor, this actor, that actor, I don't want to draw a boundary around me by labeling myself. It's up to the audience, and I take it as a compliment. If I do certain kind of film and you label me as a certain actor, and then I break that label and then go into a different category, and you label me as that actor, and then I break it again, and then I go into a different space. So it's up to the audience, but I want to be known as an actor. That's it. I want to be, I just want to be, I just want to entertain people. I just want to tell them stories. I just want to show them characters. And that's what gives me happiness. That's all I want to do 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 50 years down the line.
I was watching an interview of yours earlier today, and this guy was asking you about Pakistani actors being banned. And you had an interesting story you talked about that regarded the director, but when you got to that story, it was all in Hindi, and I didn't hear any of it because it's in Hindi. So I was wondering if you could kind of go over it again.
What story regarding?
The director of Yuri, you said something about like...
Yes.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
So firstly, the film is called Uri. Not Yuri.
Okay, Uri.
Yeah, it's called... That's okay.
And is it Vicky Kaushal or...
We've gone this far.
I'll tell you how it's said. Vicky Kaushal.
Kaushal, okay.
Kaushal.
Okay. Kaushal.
Okay, there we go.
I'll try to get it right.
Kaushal.
Kaushal.
Okay.
So what happened was, the story goes like, so the director Aditya Dhar, he was going to make a different film as his first film. It was called Raat Baki Hai, and it starred Katrina Kaif and Fawad Khan in it. And it was supposed to be produced by Dharma Productions and Fox Studios. 20 days before going on set, the Uri attacks happen. And because of those attacks, there's a lot of backlash regarding Pakistan, and then Pakistani artists working over here. And I mean, the artists are sent back as a revolt, and all of that happens. So his lead actor, Fawad Khan, is sent back to Pakistan. And because of many other complications, that film gets shelved. And he's a Delhi boy. He goes back to his hometown, depressed. As in, it's a big deal for a new young director to be getting this opportunity to make a big first film with such fantastic actors, A-listers, with like a Dharma production and a Fox Studios to just crash one day. So he went back to his hometown to take a break, and he just thought of researching as to what is this Uri attack that happened that just changed my life. 1 second, there's a fire alarm in the house. I think it's fine because I just saw a guy just walking around, strolling around with a cup of coffee. So I think it's fine.
Okay.
I mean, no one listens to fire alarms anyway.
I was a part of that audience. I had my favorite stars and I wanted them to do exactly what I want them to do. Yeah. And only then I'll clap for them. Today is not that same time. So he was in Delhi and he just started researching about Uri. What was exactly that happened that, just changed my life? And when he was just researching about it, he started researching in a more detailed way. He started meeting the military officials. He started meeting the bureaucrats. And he just thought that it's a story that needs to be told. It's a story that, the people of the country should know that this is what has happened.
Yeah.
And he started developing that into a script. And eventually, the reason why he couldn't make his first film ended up being his first film.
Right.
That's pretty amazing.
It's just bizarre. And I had called Katrina Kaif for one of the screenings of the film. And she came, she saw, and she was also flabbergasted, thinking, like the games that Destiny plays, that, he was going to make a completely different film, like a romantic comedy with me. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't make that film because of this. And this is that film today, which is doing so well. Yeah. So it was always meant to be this film for him, to be his first film. It's strange. It's weird in a good way.
Yeah.
Darshan Underwadkar, he says, how do you feel when you're told you're helping to shape Bollywood culture?
Or reshape
Or
Bollywood.
reshape, rather.
I think I would just like to say that to Darshan that I think actors take most of the limelight as to whatever change that comes in cinema.
Yeah.
But whereas the real change is being brought in by the writers of the films, it's them who really bring that change. Because when we get on board, there's a script that is ready for us. There's a script that we read, there's a script that gets narrated to us, and we jump off our seats that, okay, this is something that we haven't heard before. There's something that we would really like to do, and we just get on board and then try and do our best.
Yeah.
And then because we become the face, we get all the limelight, and we get to, we get that perception that, okay, we are changing something, we are not. If the scripts don't change, if it's a director's medium, it's a director's and a writer's medium, cinema, so it's only when they feel empowered is when cinema changes. So I would like to give credit to the writers and the directors only. It's just, if we'll do best to whatever script we get to be a part of.
Yeah.
It's just that the scripts are changing.
Right.
The stories are changing. So it's the writers actually.
Well, I think the question's in reference to the fact that just like Nawazuddin Siddiqui, you have this approach that feels so grounded and so real and so believable, right. Just like a real person as opposed to this kind of theatrical performance.
Right, or like something that's put on where it's like you're a star.
So I think the audience is also evolving, where they are expecting you to be as real as actors as that character and not be caricaturish or not, like you said, be theatrical about it. So one is that because they are expecting real stories and relatable characters and something that you would make me believe. In India specifically, the audience has really evolved. Like 20 years back, 25 years back, we had an audience who would say, okay, you guys are our favorite stars. This is why we love you. You keep showing us the same thing and we'll keep clapping for you.
Okay.
This was the audience, to be very honest. And I was a part of that audience. I had my favorite stars and I wanted them to do exactly what I want them to do. Yeah. And only then I'll clap for them. Today is not that same time. Today, the audience they're asking the stars to surprise them. to shock them with something that was not expected from you guys. Only then they're going to come to the theaters, pay that much money, take out that much time, and then going to, reward you with that appreciation. So teams have changed, and also with the influx of the digital platforms, say Netflix or Amazon or whatever, people have entertainment and world-class entertainment in their pockets today. So they know at what scale films are being made across the globe. So you can't fool them with theatrics these days.
Right.
If okay, this is the scale at which the world is working at. Now I want you guys to really up your game and show me that level of performance or storytelling or whatever it is. Otherwise, I'm not going to the theaters. I'm very happy subscribing to something that is there in my pocket.
Right. Yeah.
So that has really brought in a that kind of change, that realism that you're talking about.
Well,
But it's great. I think it's a great bet that we're going through.
I've seen some comments on my trailer reactions for Uri concerned with jingoism, and I wanted to know if you had any feelings regarding those concerns that people have.
So I was very charged. I was like, I'm going to prove it to dad. I'm going to prove it. After like 4 or 5 months of training, and we are like, okay, if not 100%, but we are like 30-40% military guys. So we are like, we have our chin ups and we are like, okay, we can save the country and all of that. So